But I looked online, you were talking earlier about people that look like us. And we have such a hard time getting teachers. I know it's such a hard job. Y'all have a hard job getting teachers. Very hard. People just don't want to be teachers anymore, and I get that. It's hard. But Cyfair has, what, 13% black teachers. I know you mentioned it earlier. Do you know what the statewide average is for black teachers?
Not at this moment, sir.
10%.
You can get that information.
10%. I looked it up. The statewide average for black teachers is 10%. Houston ISD, which I'll use as a shining example, you know what their average percentage of black teachers is? 36%. I looked that up. You know what their dropout rate is? 4%. I don't want to be 4%. I don't want to be HISD. I want to be a shining example. I want to be the district standard. I want to be the place, the premium place where people go to be. And quite frankly, we have a limited budget with limited resources. We have a great place, and let's don't mess it up for everyone else.
Hi y'all, what's crack-a-lackin'? Oh my god, it's fun to be here tonight.
It was practically said that teachers that look like me are the reason why kids drop out of school. Do you even know who I am? Have you set foot in my classroom? Do you even know my background? Have you stopped and thought to yourself why kids even drop out? I guarantee you that it has nothing to do with the color of my skin.
I again reiterate my support for Scott Henry and the other trustees to NCRT and equity programs at Cypher ISD.
We began by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, and a portion of which states, "One nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all." Some of the things, I said it was a portion, okay? And so if the school district is going to continue to progress and be the school district that it has been, it is going to have to make some changes.
It's my understanding that there were trainings for teachers last summer that talked about white privilege and which made teachers embarrassed and shamed for their race. This is illegal.
Using race as a criteria for hiring has always led to discrimination against good qualified applicants. Race has never been a good indicator of quality of or character or ability of the individual. If you want to adopt a racist policy, just be honest in who you are calling a racist.
Thank you. I'm both disheartened and disgusted by certain members of our community in their virtue signaling, bully tactics, and gaslighting Mr. Henry. Millennium's recommendations are not all substantiated by the data in this report, not at all.
Desmond Tutu said, if you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. People forget about slavery. They forget that the civil rights is just as old as many parents that are sitting in this crowd. You forget Cypher High School has plethoras of water fountains. Why? Because it was a segregated high school. Don't let these people who will celebrate MLK on Monday, but sit down here and tell me that I'm not equal.
Research has shown that it is beneficial for a diverse student population to have diverse teachers. In my certification program, I was required to read a book titled White Teachers, Diverse Classrooms that helped me recognize unconscious bias, harmful stereotypes, and equip me to adopt culturally relevant teaching. This is not woke indoctrination in need of a witch hunt. This is what professional teaching in a diverse society looks like, and any individual who does not understand that has no business serving on a school board.
A certain board member, which we'll call Tom and Jerry, said that if you hire more black teachers, then that would be a problem and it would lead to dropout rate. What in the Epoch Times are you reading that told you that that was a clear statement to make? Find your news elsewhere or find another job, which I suggest you do both. You know, you don't want to see coming back, you need to resign immediately.
This trustee must resign immediately. There is not enough time in these 2 minutes to go through every concerning comment these two board members made. Their comments clearly show that they have no business being a part of the drafting of a new resolution.
In his statements and his social media, in which he has harkened back to the segregation of the 60s, he has threaded a needle and stitched a straight line to his deeply seated racist worldview, which has no place in public education or CFISD. The community has responded with absolute ire, and rightfully so. His statement regarding black teachers is simply not true. Anyone who understands the basics of research, who is indeed, and I quote, a big data guy, comprehends that the plethora of data over many years is clear. Black teachers and diverse staff are a boon to public education, period. To the board member who made those comments, the writing is on the wall. You need to resign and do so immediately.
It is important that in a school district with a 78% non-white population, that the faculty reflect the demographics of all of our kids.
We ask that the board members here that believe racism is wrong, period, make a stand against it. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time.
Because when I saw one of our own school board members making a blatantly racist statement, I was shocked. The one who should be ashamed of himself is the one who said the words. You know what their average percentage of black teachers is, 36%. I looked that up. You know what their dropout rate is? 4%. I don't want to be 4%. I don't want to be HISD. The statement is racist on its face. There's no room for that in our school district or in our state. The statement is disqualifying for a board member for this community.
Equality is when each individual or group is given the same resources or opportunity. Equity recognizes each person has different circumstances and allocates resources and opportunities needed to reach an equal outcome.
So, we're all here for the drama fest, obviously, because we all love drama. Who doesn't? Now, having some of our school board members having some of our parents, honestly, trying so hard to pull that away from us. Why is it that the students are the ones at the front line constantly having to fight for our own rights, for our equality, and for being able to be safe in the school district? But you know what's the most important thing about school? Making sure students feel safe. Making sure they feel that they are equal. Now, do we really want to be cutting things that make students feel safe at school for the sake of arithmetic? Do we need another child to be forced to commit suicide because they don't feel that they are protected by the school district?
Comments made by the board member that were then tried to be walked back by the same board member by saying that this is being used as a political ploy by outside or out-of-state factions is disingenuous in itself. Take responsibility. Demonstrate to not only the children of this school district, but to your own children that sometimes you make mistakes and that you will take ownership for that mistake and correct it to make sure that the district stays intact and stays whole.
We know what our other board member did, disparaging black teachers and insinuating that black students don't add value because he didn't think that we should be spending money hiring black teachers to teach black students.
And there's no place for racism, ignorance in our society, and especially coming from leadership. And I'd like for you to own your comments and show me you have some self-respect and resign.
I think it's really shameful that people would look at a report like this, and I feel like I have the competency professionally to read and review this. I think it's really shameful that anybody would dismiss this just out of hand. But I think that you should actually implement all the recommendations here, and if you have to spend $1.5 million for that, do it. You've got $2.3 million, I think, that you want to spend on police cars tonight, so, priorities.
Black students also receive disproportionately more suspensions. Interesting, this statistic came up, and one board member, the data guy, attempted to twist these statistics by noting that only 4% of black students have received in-school suspension. In case you're wondering, this implies that white students have a much smaller percentage. We all know that one board member who implied that if we had more black teachers, our dropout rates would increase. Just so happens to be the same person who twisted the data as well. How can we achieve that when there are board members who have misrepresented the data, implied black teachers provide a worse education, and referred to the group who conducted this report as an out-of-state political organization? All of our new board members happily received and advertised their endorsements from the Harris County Republican Party, as well as a doctor in the community who went so far as to call their opponents in written mailers radical,
Please wrap up.
pro-communist, anti-American leftists who are indoctrinating our
Please wrap
children
up.
in critical race theory.
Please wrap up.
My mother once told me, "You are the company you keep."
But what I want to talk about is my heart today as an African American teacher. I am appalled at what was said. I am hurt. I am just cannot believe that this is happening in our district. We cannot have this. Cyfair, you are better than this. Parents speak up. Teachers speak up.
Please wrap
And people pull together and let's be the district
wrap
that I
up.
know Cyfair is.
And I'd like to start by thanking our board for conducting the equity audit. It's obviously something was needed because, boy, somebody said the quiet part out loud, didn't he? He has shown us what a racist power grab looks like. Manipulating data and misusing facts to further a racist agenda that damages our entire community. Old Buddy Boy mentioned that he wanted Cyfair to be a shining example for other districts. That will never happen if he remains on our board. And he either needs to resign or be fired.
Representation matters, and for a board member to say or even give the impression that 10% of black teachers is too much in a district where our black student population is 20% is just wrong. We in fact need more diversity, not just in teachers' roles, but in all roles, including the board.
The district has not condemned your statements, and I want to know, do they condone the statements? Because you didn't condemn it, so you must condone it.
I am a product of the Jim Crow separate but equal. It is not and was not equal. We need to understand that. We need to know that.
The deceptive and disingenuous editing of this clip has launched an overt attack on Mr. Henry, and it's a clear defamation and denigration of Mr. Henry's stellar character. This whole affair is disingenuous, and it's a politicization, and we're turning race, and we're politicizing it, and we just need to stop the politicization.
Please wrap up, sir.
And get race out of our teachers and our school system.
Thank you, sir. The claims that have been leveled against him are patently false. There was nothing could be construed as racist. No one on the board has done anything wrong. No one has said anything wrong.
And when you stand idly by and you don't get involved, it's just as if you are agreeing with behavior that should not be agreed with.
I'm for equality. I'm for equity as well, but how do we do that? Do we fire teachers because of the color of their skin? If so, I can't support that. Is that what some people call progress?
His words were clearly stated and were meant to convey exactly what he said. In his world, black teachers are the cause of high dropout rates. His rationale for the dropout rate of the HISD is woefully misguided and incomplete. There are numerous factors that contribute to high dropout rates in a school district, such as underfunded schools and economically poor neighborhoods. Why blame black teachers? In the racially charged atmosphere that exists today, that are fueled by comments like those, they're an easy target.
Please wrap up, sir.
If we could teach children the formula for success, which is graduate from high school, get a job, get married, and then have children, then we would get 98% out of poverty by doing that regardless of race.
Please wrap up.
What I heard from our school district on Monday was...
Please wrap up.
Yes, I am doing my last sentence. Was that we should not use race in hiring because the evidence shows that it doesn't bring about the results that we want. That's what I
Please
heard.
stop, ma'am.
And I don't understand why other people heard something
Please
different.
stop, ma'am.
But we,
Thank you.
The reality is the statements that were made were hurtful, insulting, offensive, demoralizing, ill-informed, even if not ill-intended.
But ignorance is not an excuse when you hold positions of high influence. NAACP joins all other organizations asking this board member should step down.
Let me be very clear. Any suggestion that I said more black teachers leads to worse student outcomes is a lie, and those spreading it should be ashamed of themselves.
Audience, please be quiet.
If you disagree with what I said, express it. I'm glad my comments motivated interest in the school board because 2 nights ago, not even a quarter of the seats were filled up in here. But we have become so dysfunctional as a community that the line of questioning from a trustee to a contractor proposing a multi-year, multi-million-dollar contract means that that trustee deserves to be attacked in every way possible on every platform? Of course not. I reject that, and so should you. Our district will not get ahead of its political factions when they use it to get even with each other. But don't forget about each other's humanity. We are neighbors. We're parents. We're a community. Having these difficult conversations should not mean lives are in danger. I see you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your thoughtful discussions tonight as well.